Leave you laid out on the floor, try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official. No negotiations needed, period. You already know WCS is back in the building. Salute the gumbo on deck. What it do, man? What's good? Soldiers on the march. You know what I'm saying? The day ones on deck in the building. Big blunts and boxing. OG on deck, man. What's good? Salute to you. No, people get it misunderstood. Like, I appreciate the ones who understand I haven't been on as frequent as I used to. You know what I'm saying? And they still tune in and hit the when they see the notification. I appreciate you. I would like to have some like an open panel, you know, to speak about some of the current events that's going on. But I know it's early in the morning for some. It's Friday. If I know my people, depending on where they at, they got other things going on. It's close to lunchtime too. My people trying to plan on what time am I getting off today? Usually it's 4:30, 5 o'clock. But since it's Friday, I think I'm gonna shorten my lunch up a little bit, and then I'm gonna bounce out around 3. That's my people, man. Hey, being on deck, what's good, man? What's good? So pretty much as you look at the title, Boxing Talk, Bozy Ennis, I think he's going to be much stronger. Keyshawn at 147. So let me first start with Keyshawn them, and then I want to get to what my take is on boxing fans talking about Claressa Shields. Because Clarissa's going to get the hate. That's just who she is as a person. She's going to get the hate. But now she's basically paired up with another light-skinned or attractive, so to speak, fighter in Alicia Baumgardner, who does represent herself at the weigh-ins very, very well. And Claressa has stepped up her game and does the same thing. They wear their outfits. You know, sex sell, you know, them stepping to the stage with somewhat like a provocative outfit kind of lures in the male viewers and female viewers. But that, you know, this is boxing. Kind of bring them closer to the yard. You feel what I'm saying? Bring them closer to the yard and lean over at the TV. God damn, Charlie look good. Okay, damn. I mean, that's where we at with it. But it just seems like we never have this with the male side of the house. You don't never have the men trying to compete with physiques. Man, men gonna come in there and we are here to make weight. But for the women, it's all about the show and tell. It's all about how good they look, how attractive they look. This is boxing. Don't remember. These women are boxing professional boxers, y'all. And they still have to come to the stage as if it's a fashion show. All right? Let's get down to what Bozy Ennis considers to be his professional opinion. Shout out to Bozy Ennis. He gave his take. Bozy Ennis via Boxing News 24. Bozy Ennis backs Keyshawn Davis against Devin Haney. And I'm going to tell you whether I agree with Bozy in this or not. Bozy said Keyshawn's strength and pressure could be too much for Devin Haney at welterweight. Derek Bozy Ennis believes Keyshawn Davis has the physical style to trouble Devin Haney if the unbeaten fighters eventually meet at welterweight. Bozy predicted Keyshawn will eventually walk Haney down and force exchanges despite Haney's movement and boxing IQ. I think that's a great fight, man, said Bozy to YSM Sports Media. Devin is a good boxer. Keyshawn, he boxes and he'll find you inside. So I think that'll be a great fight. Man, I think it'll be a great fight. I think it all depends on Keyshawn, what Keyshawn does. Is he going to box him or is he going to walk him down? Or you know what I mean, said Bozy. Ennis believed Haney movement and boxing IQ would create problems early, but he still sees Keyshawn eventually trying to force the action. Stay with me. And then what you call him really? He is like a you good. I'm reading what they say. He's like you, a good, great boxer, right? He'll box you and he'll move, and you know he's smart, said Bozy. Devin is kind of smart in boxing. Devin is kind of smart in boxing, intelligent, real intelligent. Keyshawn is also that too. I'm just reading what the text says, okay? If I was to put money down on it, check it. If I were to put money down on it, this is Bozy speaking, I'll put my money on Keyshawn walking him down. You know what I mean? Even though he liked to box, though, but I think he'll try to walk Devin down. Bozy questions whether Haney could handle a physical fight once exchanges start breaking down in close range. Keep boxing like he normally boxes and move. He's real intelligent when it comes to that, said Bozy about Haney. But end the war. No, he's not going to be victorious in the war fighting with Keyshawn at all. Once they start fighting, both of them start fighting, is who got the better IQ is going to win. So let me pause right here for a second. When we talk about IQ, a lot of us can basically assess that as long as we've been following boxing, when we get a matchup where a fighter is known to come forward with aggressive style and you have a fighter who is known to be technically advanced, a boxer who is extremely smart, strategic, and tactically sound, that's Devin Haney. Devin Haney has basically curated into that type of fighter. When you think somebody's going to walk him down, forget Ryan Garcia. We're talking about fights that he's been in where people believe that Devin was going to get walked down or he's going to have a problem with aggression and all that. So to hear that Keyshawn may potentially present problems to Devin Haney if Haney was to appease him with fighting on the inside. All right. When have we seen Devin forced to fight on the inside? Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko. Cambozo, he tried, but Lomachenko basically was skilled enough and with amazing footwork to be able to fight Devin at close quarters. Was he not? It goes on to say, he also dismissed concerns about Keyshawn Davis moving up to 147 pounds for a possible Haney fight. Bozy believes the extra weight could actually make him more dangerous. Once again, I repeat, Bozy said he also dismissed concern about Keyshawn Davis moving up to 147 pounds for a possible Haney fight. Bozy believes the extra weight could actually make him more dangerous. Now, to caveat to what Bozy Ennis just said, I do believe that if Keyshawn who seems to be struggling with making the lower weight at 147. And his attendance there has been very, very brief, to be honest. But the fact that he struggled to make weight may see him at 147 looking much more healthier. So I agree with Bozy Ennis on that. It can make him more stronger, but will it make him more faster? I don't think so. Make him more stronger? Yeah. But who do we see in Haney when he fought Norman Jr.? He looked big for 147, fit nicely in the weight class, and he showed that in his championship fight. It goes on to say, yeah, I think he's going to be much stronger. He's strong now. So I think he's going to be much stronger, Bozy said. Any fight between Haney and Keyshawn Davis will likely have to wait. Haney is still expected to move towards a rematch with Ryan Garcia. While Keyshawn is only beginning his run at welterweight, still the matchup is already generating attention because of the clash between Haney movement and Keyshawn's pressure style. Even with growing interest in the matchup, the business side of boxing makes it difficult to imagine taking the kind of risk before a second fight with Ryan Garcia is settled, which I would concur that is a solid point. If anyone chooses to take a big fight in between a money fight, especially with Ryan Garcia, especially the controversy that still lingers, the residue of cheating, ostarine, ashwagandha, all the ingredients that was mixed in to that cocktail that Ryan Garcia popped dirty. Why would you want to fight somebody like Keyshawn in between a money fight like that? At this point in time, everybody know the Haneys when it comes to business. Their manifesto is different. I mean, you might hear on social media that the Haneys are over here on the East Coast, but Haney's over there West Coast, making a deal, doing something that we didn't see coming. And they always smart about it. A lot of people didn't think that it was smart for them to take the Kambosos fight. But guess what? I was one of those people that's saying, hey, Haney's been left behind in the WBC from that crumbling WBC tournament. He's been left behind, and look at it. Everybody else is running towards the finish line for the prize. Teofimo Lopez, IBF champion. He gets to fight Lomachenko. Boom, beats him. And guess what? Him and Devin Haney never materialized the fight. He's left behind hanging on to the WBC strap. And then all of a sudden, he gets his shot at Kambosos, who beat Teofimo. What they say is not how fast you start, but how you finish. And he finished up the division very, very well. He fought twice. He won the titles and defended the titles. I just look at it like Keyshawn fighting Devin Haney at 147. I believe he's going to look strong, but I don't see Keyshawn beating Devin Haney anytime soon. That's the person who has said Devin Haney has grown on him as a fighter, and I'm just being honest about my assessment with Devin Haney and Keyshawn fighting, and Keyshawn bringing that aggressive style to Devin Haney. It's not going to work. There may be some success at distance or inside quarter fighting. All right, I get it. But experience-wise, when it comes to the championship game, 12 rounds, and you have to basically reach back to the experience that you have had fighting Kambosos in Australia twice, right? Fighting Vasily Lomachenko, bro. Getting beat up by Ryan Garcia. Fighting Regis Prograis. The experience is there. Keyshawn Davis, in a sense, to me, if you was to compare Keyshawn Davis fight, where he has kind of lost his mental bubble, and then you look at Devin Haney when he was taking punishment against Ryan Garcia, I still get an edge to Devin Haney. In the art of war, in the heat of battle, I still will arrow my favoritism in highlighting Devin Haney in the heat of battle in a fight that's going to be well contested between two fighters on the level of a Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney. And I would say this, Keyshawn Davis is still not on the level of a Devin Haney. I'm just being honest. He's not on the level. Keyshawn needs to go up to welterweight division if that's what his itinerary says. He needs to go up there and beat somebody of worthy, notable cause. I'm not talking about somebody that's number 14th in the ranking system on the sanctioning body. I'm speaking about somebody who can potentially line you up for a unification bout. Somebody that you can fight as a champion. At this point in time, the Olympians have been known to get the push, right? So if that's the case, in order to make this fight, because I hate going down this road of travel and looking at them old footprints of Crawford Spence. And then when you bring up Crawford Spence, people get so agitated because the fight has happened and it's over and done with. They say, oh, don't you know Crawford's training with Spence? But look at how long we was talking about this fight. So at this point in time, boxing fans don't want to hear that no more. They don't want to hear, oh, let it marinate, let it marinate. We're not sitting up here trying to goddamn marinate some goddamn jerk chicken. This is not a food for thought anymore in boxing. None of these fights, man, the boxing fans are so impatient. They don't want to hear these fights taking off in another 3 years. They want to see fights happen because it's very shallow of a list that we have to look forward to on the annual boxing calendar for big fights. We just don't know where they're coming from. Where are they coming from? Like subscribers, where are they coming from? Keyshawn on 147, he's going to do what he does at 147. But him beating Devin Haney in the next 2 years, it ain't happening. I know there's some Haney fans on here, but for me, I don't think it's going to happen. Let me get to the chat right quick. What's going on, Latch? Pum in the building. What's good with it? Good to see you over here, bro. I think Haney is smarter boxer than Keyshawn. Haney definitely has experience. Absolutely, I agree. And those of you that's in the chat, just drop your opinion on there. You know, drop what you think about Keyshawn and Devin Haney. Like, what do you think? Should we be having sidebar conversations about these two? Should we even put them in the mix for people to think this is going to be in the oven sooner or later and cooking up one of these good fights in the near future? Should we do that? Should we have it on the table? Should we? Should we try to build up some type of rivalry? Because guess what? There's no way we can even pick 3 rivalries like that has happened in the last year that's headed to a rematch or something that's pending. Who can we talk about? That's a rivalry. That is a rivalry. We need rivalries. At least give us 2 good, strong fights. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, that's not a rivalry. I mean, it's too much time. He had a year suspension, and then when he come back, if he would have came back and fought Devin Haney, who fought on the same card, yeah. But Ryan Garcia supposedly was supposed to fight Devin Haney if he won, and he didn't win. And you know, WCS told y'all that Ryan Garcia wasn't going to come back and win the fight. He was going to take that punishment, and then he was going to, get rewarded later on down the road. Because I said a long time ago that Ryan Garcia is a golden child. He's a golden child. And what they do, send him over there to Mario Barrios and he's a champion. Who is talking about Osterine? Nobody. Do we want to see Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fight? Yeah. I want to see them fight more than I want to see him on Devin Haney fight Keyshawn Davis. I thought for a second Keyshawn had it all together. You know, he picks Albright up and slam and get points deduction. I just think at a point in time, you get someone in there with a high Q that levitates higher than Albright, that's much more craftier and slick. You know what I'm saying? Much more of a sidious fighter. They'll give Keyshawn Davis some problems with what he's going to do. What is he going to do then? Wait to the round in and goes over there and grab the stool and run across the ring and try to crack his opponent in the head? What is he going to do next? And this is the same guy who was in his hometown the other time that made a fool of himself. And then he turns around and pick the guy up and slam him. You're not going to be able to do that with a fighter that has a higher IQ. You basically shown them that you can be frustrated. That's all I'm saying. Gumbo says, I don't think Keyshawn is focused enough for Haney. Too much other stuff going on with him. Yeah, total line up. I line up with that. I link up with that. Whatever's going on up top above those shoulders, I don't know what it is. Y'all don't know what it is, but yet we keep seeing it when he answers the bell. We keep seeing it during his fights. He keeps losing his freaking focus, man. And you cannot go in there with a fighter like Devin Haney and lose your focus. You have to be extremely attentive the whole way through in the heat of battle. I don't think he's there. It's a good point, Gumbo. Good point. Keyshawn is a good boxer, but a better seller. He sells himself very well by talking. You know what, Lash, bro? It was one point in time that I know you probably heard me say this, and you probably said it on other panels, and a plethora of other people have said it, right? I used to think that, Keyshawn was a good seller to the point where he started to sound like scrambled eggs and chitlin juice. Scrambled eggs and sardine and soybean oil. Keyshawn was saying things that seemed like they was palatable, right? They taste good and everything when it comes to listen to it. It seems like he was saying it. And then he look, if it ain't the weed, is he up here telling us, oh, well, I can't get a fight. I can't get this. And then, you have your situation before that in Norfolk where you want to go in there and beat up Albright. And then, found God, right? He found God, right? And then around founding God. I'm not questioning his belief, his faith. Then you turn around and you get there and you pick the man up and slam him in the ring. I guess, it's one of those lapses in judgment that Keyshawn has, right? But I would say I would respect his selling point a little bit more if he was just able to follow through with it smoothly. He said he was going to stop Albright. Latch, that's what he said. I'm going to stop him. I'm going to stop dudes now. I'm going to stop him. Wouldn't it have been better for him just to keep his mouth shut, leave that part alone, and just go in there and stop him? Wouldn't it have been better for him to just show and prove and let us know what the end result is? That's how you formulate a conclusion, right? You present the evidence and then it happens the way you want it to happen. Then you say, yes, that's how I planned it. But sometimes the planning process doesn't require you to just keep talking and talking and talking. I said that Keyshawn's a good talker. I like it. I was on record as saying that. But I just found out that, some of the things he's saying, he be all over the place now with his actions. But solid point though, Latch. You know, he's a good boxer, but a better seller. Sells himself very well by talking. See, another attachment to that, their latch, and everybody in the chat is that when you a good seller, when your mouthpiece is a higher grade, a higher selling point than your actions, then people tend to say, okay, well, I'll listen to what he says, and then I'm kind of skeptical about the conclusion, though. I like the way he talked. It's boxing, right? It's trash talking, but I'd rather see if he basically followed through with that. And that's what Keyshawn is at, in my opinion. After all the hype and shit in the back, he didn't go out there and stop Albright. And he was deducted 2 points by sitting up there slamming the man in the ring. You're an Olympian. You are an Olympian, bro. Jeez. Keyshawn can sell by talking trash. Adrian Broner number 2. Damn, you bringing slime ball antics in here. Oh shit! You compare him to Adrian Broner just yet? Let me see. I can't. I don't know, man. I can't. I don't know. I can't shoot the dice with you on that, bro. I don't think he's gotten to the AB effect yet because he haven't lost. AB used to talk crazy when he know he lost that fight. I beat that boy. Hey, I don't. To be honest with you, chat. And shout out to the hottest chat in the game. Yo, AB trash talking. You want to talk about selling? AB had the selling point of the ages. The can man. Come on. Keyshawn ain't as slick like that. He hasn't broken out that bubble yet with confidence to know that he can talk that AB stuff. He ain't there yet. He ain't AB. He at one point in time had his pops brushing his hair. The way he talked with confidence when the fight was over and he lost, and he'll look Jim Gray or whoever else in the eye and say, I beat that boy. I beat the crowd. Boo, boo. It sounds like a crowd full of ghosts out there. Boo, boo. Shout out to AB, man. I hope he get himself together, bro. To be honest, Keyshawn beat Shakur. This information was told by the amateur coach. Well, I would say this, and shout out for the comment. The bouts that's held outside of their sanctioning professional careers, it's good for banter. You feel me? It is. It's good for banter. Getting on here and just chopping it up. It's good. Real talk. But if you ask anybody right now for Keyshawn and Shakur, and I don't even like bringing this shit up. Why? Because it ain't gonna happen. They always say, "Oh, that's my bro. I ain't gonna fight my bro." I don't even like talking about it. But if you want to talk about something that can be a rivalry, it'll be good to see Keyshawn and Shakur fight each other. It'll be outstanding to see Shakur and Keyshawn Davis fight each other. And then to caveat to what Lash said, then we can prove that the history has matured, blossomed into something that we can see above ground. Right now, it's below ground because that happened off camera in the early stages of his career, just like photosynthesis. You know what I'm saying? You have the growth period that's in between, but now we have full-blown seasonal transitions that's going on. That's the professional level. I would love to see Keyshawn and Shakur Stevenson. I would love to see that as a rivalry. That's what we need in boxing. But they say they two BFFs. He gave Keyshawn a call up when he was doing bad dark times. I get it. But just like I said about Charlo and Errol Spence back in the day, when they both had titles at 47 and 54, I said, if you want to talk about making millions, all you got to do is fake a beef and get that money and laugh about it on the ranch. But they never did it, yo, because one thing they say about black people, we cannot do business together that makes sense. I'm not saying everybody, but it would be good. It's not going to last that long. I say EJ go out there, take the belts from Charlo. It's a 2-fight deal, and then Charlo take them back for EJ. What is one loss going to do for EJ? Nothing. No knockouts, no knockdowns. The referee understands it. Stop the fight if somehow, blah, blah, blah. Save him for another day. What about Keyshawn and Shakur? Same thing, man. They can make millions together if they knew how to put on the correct beef, play it out to the GP, the general public, make people believe that they really dislike each other to go get this money. And then in 2 fights, gauge on whether they want to see a trilogy, whether the fans want to see a trilogy or not. And then in the end, they just laugh about it. You know, me and Shakur never really had beef with each other. We just did it for the money. We did it for the sport. I would like to see that happen. That would be something nice. But once again, we need 2 fighters out here that can basically build up fan interest with a potential rivalry. That's all. Just give us a little bit of heat. You know what I'm saying? Give us the animosity. Make it seem genuine. That y'all truly despise one another. And then sell it to the fans, and the consumers will purchase the ticket and come see you. It's just like all this streaming shit that's going on with AB and Dean the Great. You know, they're just showing the transition in social media. Now they got camera, team of camera people following them around everywhere, and they're getting paid a week, every freaking week, not once a month, every week. Imagine if boxers were able to do that, but they locked in with promoters. Where the funding coming from? You imagine if some top boxers was walking around having a stream and making extra money outside of their professional careers, streaming like that. That just goes to show you how the Ali Act is going to affect a lot of goddamn fighters. Because once again, they're restricted. They can't make hardly any extra money on the side. You know what I'm saying? They can't make business deals without letting their managers know. And then their managers have to approve it. You imagine a Shakur and Keyshawn meeting up somewhere outside and getting into a freaking argument. And their friendship, just like AB. I try to tell people on Facebook that AB and Dean was going to split because that has to happen. Now they got the fans' attention. They're going to split up. There's going to be some beef. It's going to be something that happens. You're going to be like, God damn. Just when we was getting vested in this, they gone. Same thing with boxing. Let me see what's being said in the chat. Conquest on deck. What's good with it, bro? I'm seeing you in a minute because I haven't been on in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you pulling up, though. Swerve on deck. What's good? Andrade is the best black fighter of this era, not Crawford. Man, hey, I understand it's still late in the morning for some of you. Where you at? You know what I'm saying? But we're not on Crawford conversations right now, especially comparing him to Andrade. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, hey, talk to him, Gumbo. Talk to him. What Gumbo just say? You're off topic, man. You're off topic. Nobody talking about Crawford right now. That's the king. You know what I'm saying? He's gone. Yeah, right. Man, you better leave these piranhas alone that's swimming in this chat. Shit. I can remember being just a smidge under today's D1 backs and NFL running backs in the state. But you don't back away, you go. Hey man, we'll see how this plays out with that. You know, I would like it, but we'll see how it plays out. I want you to take a listen to this audio of Tim Desert Storm Bradley, and I'm going to comment on that. Okay.
At that point, why didn't you slap her then? Like, Carissa, why didn't you? If you had that hostility in your heart, that hate in your heart, yeah, you let that shit out. But why didn't you slap her then when she was right in front of you? That's what like a G, that would have been cold. This shit right here is a little bit sussy, man. It's like, wait, hold up, people around her and stuff. You snuck your hand in there, and then I thought about it. I said, damn. Shit, that was quick. Ooh, that was a quick ass. What up? Ooh, shit, that was quick. Remind me of my damn mom back in the days. My mom used to hit my motherfucking head boy from a distance. However, Baumgartner, your defense is still lacking, girl. I ain't gonna lie, your defense is lacking.
So Timothy Bradley is talking about Carissa Shields and Baumgartner effect. I'm not gonna stay on it too long. All I want to say is that it's kind of cheesy in both directions, because when you look at how it went down, I get where Tim is coming from. But if you out sociably, just trying to be a lady, that goes for both. You're not expecting to get slapped by somebody. But if you stop and start trash talking and you're building that energy up, then that's where it's at. That's how it's always going to be. It's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a problem. And those of you cats is out here doing videos on how Carissa look comparable to Baumgartner, you're being a little sassy too. Because while we talking about how women look, Carissa has stepped up her game lately. Baumgartner stepped up her game. But guess that's where it stops at. They ain't gonna never fight, in my opinion. I'll be honest with you. Okay, so I wanted to talk about some miscellaneous topics that I saw on Boxing News 24 about Pitbull Cruz joins Eddie Reynoso. I don't mind Pitbull, who basically is named after his aggression. His moniker is Pitbull because of his aggressive nature. But that too has been figured out, and he's been in some tough fights, And though I like Pitbull's style, when you come forward like that, and he's short as he is with his stature, people are gonna figure you out with an uppercut. They're gonna figure you out with an uppercut. They're just gonna time that counter uppercut. You keep on coming in with your head down. Though he's a tough guy, now he's teaming up with Eddie Reynoso to work on his defense. So salute the Pitbull Cruz for understanding that he needs to hire a freaking boxing coach to work on his freaking defense. I like that. Even at this stage in the game and the fight he had with Lamont Roach, he's still willing to seek improvement. That's good. That's good. Y'all know when Turkey Al-Sheikh Riyadh season initially hit the scene, man, look, you couldn't turn on a live stream without hearing Turkey Al-Sheikh's name. You see how that has simmered down, yo? The temperature's just settled. It's not even boiling the way it is. I'm not saying he's fell off. it's just the transitional interest of the boxing fans and the social media voices. You go through this wave, and it was just Riyadh, Turkey, 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 and it's not like that no more. You know what I'm saying? He's not went anywhere. It's just they're not talking about it as much. I mean, you couldn't turn on without hearing the Ring magazine, Turkey Al Sheet, Riyadh season. You know why? Because we're looking for some big fights, man. We want to know what is the big fights. And Billy, Canelo Alvarez. Why isn't people talking about Billy Canelo Alvarez? Because a lot of people don't believe, and Billy has what it takes to beat Canelo. So leading up until even with the Crawford fight, right? And Billy doesn't come in with the reputation and credentials that Crawford had stepping into there with Canelo. Even though there was still a majority, it was probably like 60-40. I would say 60-40, yo. Maybe 55-45, but more so 60-40, 70-30 Canelo people. Canelo fight fans thought for sure he was going to beat Crawford. But for Billy, and Billy doesn't have the reputation as a Terrence Crawford. He doesn't have the history to go in here and with Canelo, and people like, based off what we've seen and what we can predict, we believe in Billy is a 50-50 fight. No, they don't. They don't believe in Billy versus Canelo Alvarez. It's a 50-50 fight. But Canelo still holds Wall Street value. He still has stock in boxing, even if he loses. And Canelo, of all boxers, man, has one of the worst triangular loss records that's up for conversation. He lost to Floyd Mayweather when he was younger, and they felt that he was going to be the guy to hand Mayweather his first loss. Then he moved up and lost to Dimitri Bivol handedly, and lost to Crawford at 168 handedly. But the two that's gonna matter is the Mayweather fight and the Crawford fight. Two technically skilled, crafty fighters who understood the science. They outthought Canelo, outboxed Canelo. But guess what, y'all? And Billy don't bring the same technical cachet to the ring when he fighting Canelo. He's a come forward, aggressive style fighter that plays right into Canelo's style. People say, "Oh man, Canelo's not going to be able to handle it." Yes, he is. Listen to me. I almost said, mark my words. Listen to me. Canelo's not worrying about Billy's aggressive style, yo. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being mean about it. And Billy's not one of my favorite fighters. He's just not. And don't get it wrong when I say this. But I'm gonna propose the question. Cameroon. I know he was camping out just like an old Lennox Lewis. He had dual this. He's over there in Canada. His nationality is French. When have you ever seen them take over recently? When have you seen them take over? Can anybody tell me when you seen them take over? This dude is 29-0, 1 draw and 24 knockouts. He just had a draw with Lester Martinez, man. And we are supposed to believe that Canelo on September 12th, 2026, for the WBC World Super Middleweights, a title that Canelo Alvarez has held already and earned, and Crawford has relinquished after that whooping. We're supposed to believe that Billy is going to go in there and defend his title. 82.76% KO ratio, right? That's what Billy is having. Canelo has a 61.9% KO ratio, but the crowd doesn't care. They don't care about that. They don't care if you have a higher freaking KO ratio than Canelo. And Billy is 31 years of age. Will youth play a role in this fight? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm just looking at him, Billy's record with that draw with Lester Martinez back in September 13th, 2025. And then you're fighting Canelo September 12th, one day less than, than the last fight you had in September. Hey, he's had his share of knockouts, okay. But if you look at the people that he's been in there with, Vaughn Alexander, who's a tough, rugged St. Louis fighter, 17-6-1 at the time, and Billy fought him. That was a UD. That was in 2022. He has no reputable names on his resume to the liking, to the quality, to the level, to the skill set, to the credentials of a Canelo Alvarez. Not to mention the overall sun in the sky beaming down on his forehead. IQ. He doesn't have the IQ to go in there and beat Canelo Alvarez, man. So shout out to him, Billy, for getting the fight. There's nothing more I have to say about that. I don't see him winning. And to be honest with you, it sounds good, but I don't see him doing anything except giving us a little bit of clips in there, some highlight clips of him landing a shot on Canelo, and that's it. And that's it. I don't see him with that 81% knockout ratio stunning Canelo. I don't see any of that. Shout out to Shaw News on deck. What it do, bro? If they were in a club, they would have been rumbling. In my opinion, because the landscape about to change via Aliak. Yeah. I really, don't want to get too technically invested in the Aliak because, like I always say, boxing being an open-ended sport, the sport has never been a single entity. Therefore, what I'm saying is, who has a governing body in the sport of boxing? Who is the overall controlling authority? Who can you submit your grievances to? Boxing is an open sport. They come from all walks of life. Some have clean records, some have dirty records, good and bad. So when it comes to them changing certain documentation that was supposed to be here to protect fighters, it's just showing you boxing is still struggling, especially past the pandemic, post-pandemic. You know why? Because they need to be able to get more money to survive this. They need more to go off of. You saw the changing of the guard, not just with the boxers, but with the networks and the promoters. The changing of the guard is right there in your face, like slap championship. It was slapping boxing fans all over the place, man. Who would have thought ESPN would have left Top Rank? Who was looking for Showtime and Fox to lead PBC? Who would have thought ESPN would now show up and come to the surface from snorkeling and be with MVP? Who would have thought that Top Rank would have teamed up with his own? I mean, if you look at everything that's taking place, why wouldn't the Ali Act change? Hey, the money was there. Shit, the money was there. Shoot, man. Boxing. People just said, just like and done, they really don't pay attention, but you seeing it now. You seeing it now. Boxing is a business. Unfortunately, for the business side of it, sometimes the ones that doesn't benefit from the business or the fighters. And for that layer to be stripped, now exposing a whole nother dimension or a business area, area where fighters might be on the receiving end of some bad freaking business, some restricted business. You know what I'm saying? One that's going to limit them the freedom that they once had before the Ali Act was changed, if it does, get clearly changed permanently. That's going to basically give limitations, have limitations on the fighters even more. The combat sport game is becoming like as much work as boxers put in. They take punishment doing sparring, they take punishment on fight night. But to be restricted and they almost like they're putting a saddle on the boxer's back. It's so much that's going to be going on now that these fighters say, hey, at this point in time, the economy being the way it is, I got to make a check. This is with MMA too now. MMA did an antitrust lawsuit and they was able to win, but you're looking at how much did each fighter that was in that lawsuit get paid? It wasn't much. Anyway, moving on. Is more let's see. Danny Garcia Crawford all together. And what's going on to the First Family, man? Legacy on deck. What's good? Salute to you. What's good? Hope all is well, man. Shout out to Jude in the building. But yeah, that's the way I see it, man, when it comes down to the way boxing has changed. People talking about the Ali Act, but they really don't care about the Ali Act because there's certain things you can't see from the outside in when it comes to phone conversations, table talks, you know what I'm saying, contractual agreements, and the decision that was made for that contract. Is it for a multi-fight deal, single fight deal? Where's the fight at? What are all the amenities that fighter get by signing that contract? Especially under the reconstruction of the Ali Act. Are fighters going to be more happier or disappointed? I don't know, man. It's going to be tough, though. Okay, I want to talk about something that happens across the, across the water all the time. It's like, so what you seeing going on? And I wish it was like this when, Deontay Wilder was basically on deck, but he got his trilogy out of Tyson Fury. He did. He got his trilogy. It was a tough trilogy, but he got his trilogy, and we haven't really seen that play out anymore, except with Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk. But it wasn't a trilogy, though. Okay, so a lot what I see overseas is that you have Dubois, you have certain fighters over there that still are recognized as having appraising value, right? So they put them back in there to prove themselves. So after we seen Daniel Dubois quit against Alexander Usyk the first time, people was like, oh man, he quit because he didn't get the knockdown. He quit. They was calling him every name in the book. Then he beat Jarrell Miller. Okay. Jarrell Miller wasn't for a chip, but it was just to get some recognition, to get some face value back, to show that he belonged amongst the big names in the heavyweight division. What I would like to see happen is that boxers at lower weight classes get the same preferential treatment that we see this going on over there with some of these fighters. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second. All right, I'm back. Hey, OG Bruce Gas on deck. What's good? So let me get back to the point I was trying to make with Daniel Dubois and some other names that's in the sport. Okay. What I was trying to clarify is that, when he beat Jarrell Miller, it wasn't for a belt. Then he turned back around. They gave him an opportunity out past Jarrell Miller. I mean, out the door with Jarrell Miller, dispersing of him in the last second, showing that he can. I mean, the quality of fighter Jarrell Miller, he still had a little respect in the boxing game that Daniel Dubois stopped him in the last seconds. Okay, all right, cool. They give him another fight of Anthony Joshua, and he goes in there and destroys him. Right, the ups and downs, the roller coaster of boxing, the roller coaster. On if you allow a fighter to continue to be on that stage under the bright light, sometime they can give you the excitement that they want. Whether they're consistent or not, we don't know. But instead of just doing like they do in America, just put them on the shelf sometime. Just get rid of them. I just don't understand what that's all about. But anyway, he goes in there and he doesn't do well against Usyk. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do well at all against Usyk. Makes easy work. But they bring him back in here for Fabio Wortley. And what a hell of a fight. Even though Fabio Wortley, he doesn't have the experience of Usyk. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the experience of a Joshua. But the fight itself, when linked up with Daniel Dubois, it was an exciting, competitive fight. But guess what? His promoter, Frank Warren, he keeps selling Eddie Hearn. They keep selling. Who is Eddie Hearn selling for a big fight? Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Who wants to see Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury? We're talking about the same Anthony Joshua who was knocked out by Daniel Dubois, who just finished beating Fabio Wortley. But Eddie Hearns, Frank Warren, they have the same freaking mindset, is to keep putting the name out there enough, and they don't care what people see, because I guess they're living off their own system over there. They're talking about a Daniel Dubois Usyk trilogy. How? How can you even think about the other word trilogy when Dubois has lost twice already? Now, I have to bring Deontay Wilder in there. He hasn't had the opportunity to fight Usyk once. Both fighters has touched the canvas, but no one can say that Deontay Wilder has quit. They said that about Dubois quit on the big stage, but now he gets back into the spotlight, and they're trying to make it a selling point for him to fight Usyk third. No, get the fuck out of here. No, I think that's always going to be who he is. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think about Richie Torres, bro? I know I talked a little bit about this the other day. Richie Torres, on pretty much him being the Olympian, yo. We don't have no U.S. heavyweight contenders on this side of town. They were so anxious to get the bronze bomber out the way. He's out of the spotlight for the championship at this moment. But we have to redirect our focus to Richie Torres and potentially Jared Anderson. I mean, what do y'all think of Richie Torres stepping up to Frank to fight Frank Sanchez? We have to put our faith in something, some heavyweight contender that's up here, something. We have to do it, yo. We're going to be extending or meeting the limit of how long a U.S. heavyweight champion was absent from holding a chip back before Deontay Wilder beat Romain Stavern. We might surpass that 10-year, that decade mark easy. Deontay Wilder lost his belt February 2020. We're past February 2026 already. And it's not even a U.S. heavyweight champ, even in the optics, for us to say, oh, let's get behind. If you didn't like Deontay Wilder because of who he was or what you thought he stood for, what about Richie Torres? Why y'all not getting behind him? Mexican. Nance, cause of Mexican. First, it was Deontay Wilder. He know now how to speak. He know blah blah English. He's a country boy. He's wild. He don't have proper skill set. Well, guess what? What did WCS tell you? And when it comes to the heavyweight division, skill set it's not going to be that beautiful little hand and eye coordination, that skill set, that coordination that you're looking for. The heavyweight fighters are ugly fighters when it comes to their skill set. Their rhythm and motion. How they fight. How they look when they fight. George Foreman throwing punches. Was it pretty? Joe Frazier. We can't keep on talking about Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali used to get beat up on the ropes for fun. Ernie Shavers, thank God I had the opportunity. Ernie Shavers corrected me to my face when I was in Alabama. I said, it's a pleasure to meet you. Ernie Shavers is a legend of the sport. I said, you're one of the hardest hitting. He said, no, let me correct you. I am the hardest hitting puncher ever. Just ask around. He told me that to my face. A part of me, I'm saying, you know what, Ernie? Hey, you back up a little bit. I'm about to put my jab up on you. No, I'm joking. Hey, Ernie told me to my face, bro. Look, he told me to my face in a very polite manner. I was happy to be around that many legends in that room when I went up there for Deontay Wilder card in Tuscaloosa. Shout out to JD's. It was a JD's card. But man, Ernie Shavers told me to my face, rest his soul, man, rest in peace. He said, I am the hardest hitting. Ask around. And I started doing my research. I was like, let me kind of ask around and shit. Let me look at some of his fights. And that dude could punch. Ernie Shavers can punch, man. It was good to get a picture with a legend like that because I just wasn't able to attend fights back then, seeing him and some others go through their careers when they was competitive. But as the US of A, what do I got to offer? What do I have to put the request out? Who's the next one that's in line for us to get behind? If you didn't like the Tuscaloosa, Alabama right hand of God. Well, what can you admire about Richard Torres, the Olympian? Put it in chat, please. Put it in chat. What do you like about Richard Torres? Because now we go from a very popular fighter for his unorthodox type style and killer instinct by all means necessary to Richie Torres, who's somewhat like a brawler, old school type fighter that want to not come in and close distance off the jab. He just want to throw combinations to get close to you and beat you up. What do you all like about Richard Torres? Because right now he's about to do an IBF eliminator to put himself in a position he's about to put himself in a position, like, to see where the U.S. fight fans. Like, okay, so let's do commonalities. No, not commonality. That's the wrong contextual comparison when it comes to the analytics. Let's do similarities. One that stands out to me is Deontay Wilder was a bronze medalist in the Olympian. Right? I mean, we at least say that we have two Olympians, right? Right? Richard Torres is a step above Deontay Wilder in winning a silver medal in the 2020 Olympics. You see, let me give you a point two to that. Is that Richard Torres was in the 2020 Olympics as one heavyweight contender was seeing the future of his entry into professional boxing later on from the 2020 Olympics where he won a silver medal. One professional heavyweight champion was on his way to relinquish in 2020 his heavyweight title. Not just willingly giving it up, but in the art of war. Him fighting Tyson Fury in the rematch. So is Richard Torres the successor of Deontay Wilder when it comes to U.S. heavyweight contenders, U.S. heavyweight champions? Is Richard Torres, because Torres won his medal in 2020 as Deontay Wilder lost his belt in February. He hasn't been able to regain it. Now comes Richard Torres years later, and he's in the IBF eliminated. Is he the next? Is he the goods? Please let me know what you think. Is Richard Torres the goods, y'all? That's what I want to know. Do y'all have faith in Richard Torres giving us something that we didn't see coming? NYT on deck. Good to see you, bro. OG say Torres versus Sanchez interests me more than Usyk versus Rico. Okay, I look at it like this. Being that I seen Rico fight in person years ago, when he was much younger, in his genre of martial arts, Rico a beast, a legend. But to see him cross over like Francis Ngannou did to Anthony Joshua, just like Conor McGregor did with Floyd Mayweather, I see the same outcome happening. People believe that per betting odds, this would be the perfect fight for certain people to make a lot of money. They believe Rico is going to beat, well, I'll take that back. one long soul who's probably still, kind of suffering a little bit of CTE, concussionary protocol off those fights he been in. Derek Chisora say he sees Rico beating Alexander Usyk, right? So the way I look at it is that I have vested interest in seeing both because I've seen Rico fight. I've seen, of course, Alexander Usyk fight, met him in person. Then we see Torres and Sanchez. Of course, when it comes to the two fighters, Frank Sanchez, of course. People still look at him as holding some type of value to the sport. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to two pure boxers, one younger guard coming up, and Richard Torres potentially will put him in a position to fight for a title, we should be vested in Richard Torres versus Frank Sanchez. I have no issues with Alexander Usyk. He's definitely one of the GOATs of this era. He is. You have to give it up to him. But when it comes to projection, when it comes to what's out there in the future in the heavyweight division, far as USA, far as an American title holder, I would be more vested for Torres Sanchez. Appreciate that comment there, OG. James Quick Tiller said when Shavers hit him, he saw blue rats dancing to jazz smoking cigarettes. Hey, a shout out to Bruce Gas, man. Like, he's like one of those windows to the old school OGs that fought, right? But Bruce, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. You know how people be talking. They say, Bruce, let me tell you some real shit. Okay? Let me tell you something, Bruce. Being that I wasn't a competitor on that level, right? And I've traveled down certain alleyways and I've had the opportunity to meet some people in the boxing game. But look, listen to me when I tell you, OG. When Ernie Shavers, when I had the opportunity to see him in the same room, I didn't even know he was gonna be there. First of all, I just finished talking to Evander Holyfield. But when Ernie Shavers looked at me and told me he's the hardest puncher, he wasn't blinking. Look, I got kind of concussed imagining this dude say, hey, I am the hardest hitting fighter. I am. I'm not one of, I am. And he didn't blink when he said that shit. I mean, I was like, damn, here goes a staple of legendary status in front of me at an older age. I didn't have to compete with this guy, but I did. It's not like I've never seen a video of Ernie Shavers, but when he's told me that, it was almost like all those damn fights he had been in, he faced off without even facing off. Like he told me to my face, not in an aggressive, disrespectful manner. He said, I am the hardest hitting. I said, okay, yes, sir. Understood. All right, sir. I think I did about face and saluted. I mean, hey, OG, it was Ernie Shavers in front of me. I thought I never got a chance to meet Ali in person, but I got a chance to meet some of the other greats. Larry Holmes, Jerry Coney. I got a chance to meet the Holyfields, Ernie Shavers, and plenty other heavyweights. Mike Tyson, I did see him in passing, but haven't had the opportunity to frame one with him. But man, there's some great fighters. Ernie Shavers told me to my mother effing face. I think still at his age, he could have got down through a nice little punch. But see, I wouldn't have been there for that shit to land though. I would have had to slip up. Nope. Hey, Ernie, nice meeting you. Gotta go. Over under 5.5. Okay. Over under 5.5. Okay. Ernie Shavers said, I am the hardest hitting puncher. All right. Shout out to Blue in the building. What up? What up with it, bro? Salute to you, man. I think either Frank Sanchez doesn't have it no more. Top Rank is throwing Richard Torres away and going to drop him. I would hope that Frank Sanchez Richard Torres is able to beat Frank Sanchez. I think he's competitive enough to go in there and beat Frank Sanchez to get his first title shot. I think he is. I think him changing up, working with B&B, I think he's going to improve that brawling style, know how to work behind the jab, and basically take advantage of that aggressive style. Use his strength in several places rather than just one. Kicking down the front door, taking punches just to get on the inside and want to rough your opponent up. I think the mad scientist, Bomac, is going to show him well enough how to improve, how to work behind the jab, how to throw combinations, how to effectively build up a strategy to go in there and fight Frank Sanchez, who has pretty good footwork. One thing about Sanchez, he has decent footwork and decent power. I said, hell no. Ernie ain't about to goddamn hit me on the jaw. Hell no, shawty. But let me keep going though. Yeah. Richie Torres, man, looking like John Holmes, the porno star. He said Richie Torres Jr. believes Frank Sanchez becomes far more vulnerable once the pace of the fight increases and the rounds begin to add up. The unbeaten heavyweight said his pressure, conditioning, and tenacity could become the deciding factors Saturday night in Egypt. So once again, they're fighting this weekend. I think Frank does a great job of lulling you in. He throw that one jab, and then he'll come with a really quick one with the power too. That's something I got to keep my eye on, said Torres. I think the difference. Hold on for a second. Is that Torres also said the fight could give him a chance to show more of his boxing skills rather than only being viewed as an aggressive pressure fighter. The unbeaten heavyweight added that he sees himself as part of the new generation, carrying the divisional forward for American heavyweight. So at least he has somewhat of a positive point at 26 years of age. He's still young in the game, and let's see how he does in here. He says via Boxing News 24, I think Frank has a great chance for me to showcase my boxing ability more because I have to bring it out. I'm really excited for this fight to showcase that I can actually box as well. So just like I said about the mad scientist, he want to show the people that he can box as well. And that's just what I was talking about his pressure style. He was looking sloppy in there. To basically step in there with, okay, let's look at it this way. Alexander Usyk, he's going to be close to retiring. Fury should have been close to just staying his ass out the sport, but they trying to make him and Anthony Joshua fight. Joshua sooner or later is going to be out the game. You know, I don't know how long Jarrell Miller is going to stay on deck, but he's probably going to stay on there until he get a title somehow. Dubois, he's still pretty young in the game. Anyway, what I'm saying is, it seems like it's going to open up some avenues for a fighter like Torres, Jerry Anderson, to fight for a title. I would see Torres getting a shot before Anderson will get a shot again. Anderson was able to get a fight after that McCauley loss, but if you're looking at it from the lens of the fan perspective, people will criticize his desire and his hunger to go in there and represent the USA, like a fighter who's able to handle the payload. You know what I'm saying? An emotional payload that he was struggling with when he was talking to Roy Jones on film. You know what I'm saying? On the lens. He seemed like he was struggling. As in Torres, he doesn't provide us with that dilemma that it's too much for him. He never asked for it. So I'm looking for the best with Torres, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not think a Mexican fighter, right? Let's not forget how much black fan base support Mexican fighters. So if y'all didn't want to support your brother Deontay Wilder, you should be able to support Torres. This is a Mexican fighter, and he's a silver champion, Olympian. Make up your mind. Make up your mind, Shawty. It goes on to say the heavyweight division is so volatile right now. You never know who's going to be on top. It's changing every month. It feels like I really want to put us out there for the USA and say we're here to stay as well. Talk that talk. We need somebody to latch on to. We need something there, Richie. My boy Deontay is no longer reigning, defending WBC heavyweight champion, hailing out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder. Yeah, I miss hearing that. Oleksandr Usyk has definitely been a role model to me as well. He really has knocked on the door for a lot of these smaller heavyweights, said Torres. I think Moses Altuve is a great fighter. He's fast. He's quick. He has incredible capability. But again, I think he hasn't fought a fighter like me. Talk that talk, Richie. Torres closed by making it clear how highly he rates himself heading into the biggest fights of his professional career. So, once again, we have a lot of American fans willing to get on the wagon with Moses Altuve, but they won't get on the wagon for Richie Torres. Wouldn't you be more adept to support and get behind an Olympian, a U.S. Olympian? To basically speak it into existence with him potentially fighting Moses Altuve later on? That's what I want to see. But you got fighters out here that say, oh, Moses Altuve, he's just special. He's just so special. Something different about him. He's different. Hey, I like Richie Torres' attitude. Earlier, I did say he was a sloppy fighter. But now that the word is out there and the stork has landed and sent the message to the general public, say, hey, Torres is over there at B&B training. Now, I have to change it up. I have to understand that this man is motivated and hungry to be better as a fighter. So with experience and the reputation behind all of that with B&B, I know he's going to come out looking better. He is. He said, I'm extremely confident in my ability. I wouldn't be in this game anymore if I didn't think I was the best. I believe I'm the best in boxing, and I'm here to prove it, said Torres. Man, come on, Torres out here talking that talk at 26 years of age. We can't put the age tag on him. He's a youngin'. He's a youngin'. He ain't a small fighter either, man. Let's just see what happens, man. We need to get behind the Olympian, bro. You know, y'all didn't like one Olympian. You wanted him out of the sport when he was reigning, defending, undefeated. Now it's time for us to basically show our support. For the Olympian Richard Torres, man, potentially to get a title shot. That's all I'm saying. Stay with me now. Stay with me. Stay with me. We need to start thinking of of an avenue approach in supporting Richard Torres until Jared Anderson get back on track. Jared Anderson didn't quite make it past Bacoli. We know how he went out. You know what I'm saying? Now we got to get behind the Olympian, man, and support Richie, man. He's a Mexican, a U.S. Mexican fighter, silver champion that's finally getting his window of opportunity. Let's get behind it. For real. I never doubt Bomac, but I think Frank might have it in the bag. And that's from Big Blunts and boxing. He's going with Frank. He thinks Frank could have it in the bag. The business of boxing, the play or in full effect, and the jealous fans have no clue. What's the play? What's the play? I definitely need to know what the play is. I can't decipher what the play is. What's the play? We definitely getting Wilder versus AJ or Usyk, hopefully. I'll settle for Wilder versus Miller in the meantime, but I definitely think that's in the making. Blunts, I have to disagree with wanting to see Wilder Miller. You know why? Because there was no history between them except them dating a common female out here in life. And we all know that happens often, right? But why do we want to see Wilder Miller outside of boxing? What could we attach him to as far as a competitor, a worthy opponent that's going to bring them a higher boxing FICO at this point? Miller's never been champion. If Wilder reigned as long as he did, 10 successful title defenses, why aren't we talking about him fighting AJ? If you combine AJ's titles, let's just say both times he reigned as a unified champion, they still don't exceed Wilder's title defenses. He may have had 2 belts while Wilder had 1. They still don't exceed Wilder's title defenses. So it should be Wilder versus AJ, since nobody was talking about Wilder Miller back in 2018. Right or wrong? And then Usyk, we already know what Usyk is. I would like to see Wilder face Usyk or AJ. That's it. Miller, I could care less. All they have in common is dating the same female or whatever. I have no interest in seeing Wilder versus Jarrell Miller, bro. I'm just being honest. I like Miller. You know, when I talked to him, he had mad integrity and said, I admit to what I did and this, that, and the other, honest person. But as far as seeing Wilder fight Miller, what is he getting from that shit? TGB in the building. What up, man? Hope all has been well with you, big dog. God damn. Hit the brother up, man. I lost your contact. I ain't gonna lie. I lost your contact because I lost a lot of contacts, man, on my phone. Shit. My phone messed up. I had to get that shit straightened up, man. But hit me back. I haven't heard from you in a minute, TGB, man. Hope all is well with you, dog. Torres, the only one asking for that Moses Altuma smoke. Man, talk to him, bro. Talk to them. Look, one thing I do understand, the hottest chat in the game, is that we can't sit up here and project all this support, man. All this hand waving and shit. Blowing little bazookas. Silly string everywhere, looking goofy. Supporting Moses Altuma without the criticism that you give your own fighters internal to your boxing footprint in America. You know what that is? Oh, he got to fight this. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't did this. He ain't did that. He ain't did. You know, it's still the same thing. When are you all going to get behind a fighter? You know, I don't want to say American have some of the worst fight fans because the basic demographic, just the whole global picture is so large that not all of it is consistent with boxing fans. You know, if you want to blend in the population status, right? So all I'm saying is people are getting behind Moses Altuma so easily. Who has he fought of notoriety? Who has he fought to get the American fans behind this guy so much? I remember when they was supporting Ben Whitaker heavy, and then he started having some shakeups. Why does American fighters have to play second fiddle to a neighboring fighter, and then they have to go in there and show, show us what you can do. Go get him, Tiger. They have to go in there and get him, Tiger. Why? Why can't we just push the U.S. to go over there? He ain't black. Okay, what's the excuse, man? He ain't from the country. He ain't from Tuscaloosa. So now we get Richard Torres, man, much different fighter than Deontay Wilder, much more different fighting style. Even he himself said he has to work on cleaning up, polishing up his technique. Why? Because if you get a fighter like Torres is still going to think he's going to ladder the ranks with that coming in with his head down, swinging and ringing and dinging, hoping to hit something, and then start getting caught. What good is he going to be for us to cheer him on if he's going to take an L? We're trying to get Richard Torres to see what he's able to do in the fire, not send him in there to burn up. That's all. But good point there, TGB. Shout out to Tough Girl Boxing in the building. Haynes Legacy on deck. What it do, Haynes? The honest truth is that Wilder was an anomaly. A++ power, D-level footwork, and about C-level boxing skills. The power got him to places most dream of. Shout out to the Bronze Bomber. We need some fresh blood. Well, I wasn't really talking about that. Like the Bronze Bomber. Like I said earlier, yeah, you may that is your assessment of Wilder. And it's not the first time somebody has assessed him with a mediocre grading score. But what I will say about the heavyweight, once again, the heavyweight division, is that you don't see pretty heavyweights. Who's a pretty heavyweight when it comes to their style? Who's beautiful? Who represents and wear the jacket of the sweet signs that you can just say, I admire. I don't care who they fight. Look at that heavyweight right there. Oh, you want to talk about the science? Who? We have some ugly heavyweight fighters in history. In history, yo. What about Jarrell Miller? Always getting up on fighters, leaning on them and shit. Hair coming off. No, I'm just playing. I ain't talking about the hair. But I'm just saying, being that big, not having a respectable cardio system to power his way through the mid rounds up to the end. Joshua. They said Joshua had the more complete style. Until he went in there with a even shorter fighter that had a better style than he did and a higher IQ, in my opinion. Made him quit. Andy Ruiz made Joshua quit, and Joshua's name was the one who they say had the higher technical IQ as a professional heavyweight. And look what happened to him. Andy Ruiz made that guy forget he can speak English. Are you okay, Joshua? Huh? Me no speak no English. Huh? ¿Qué? No entiendes, amigo. Anthony Joshua spit his gum shield out. What's that doing in my mouth, amigo? ¿Qué pasó? He spit his gum shield out and the fight's over with. Shit ain't pretty, dog. We can go through a plethora of heavyweights, and their style is up for critique. The same thing goes for Wilder. You have certain heavyweights with lower KO percentages and still win, and some with higher KO percentages that win up to a point of them depending more so on their power. And then they get in front of a fighter that's smart, elusive, decent hand speed, respectable ring IQ, and they beat him. But good point there, Haynes. Shout out to the Bronze Bomber. His reputation needs no introduction. Okay, the player's Richie. Okay. I'm going for Richie, though. That's a great match for Torres and Anderson. I wouldn't want to see Jared Anderson go in there with Frank Sanchez right now. Not off the way he looked on his last fight. I haven't seen Torres in a fight where mentally he seems depleted. He seems like it's been a dilapidated process based off a previous fight he had that showed that he's pretty fragile in this area if you press him at this and that and the other. I mean, I haven't seen that progress report from Richard Torres. I haven't seen it play out on the screen or none of that shit. I haven't seen it. I have seen it with Jared Anderson, though. But I haven't seen it with Richie Torres. I have to see Richie Torres to see, oh, no, based off what I've seen in Frank Sanchez, no. You know, you got Blunt saying that Frank Sanchez, he may come out victorious. You have people in the chat that believe Richie isn't ready. And I'm telling you, my opinion, just my opinion, you don't have to believe it, that I think, I'm assuming that under the new tutelage of the mad scientist, he's going to be just fine. We got to have faith in what we know. I mean, what we've witnessed, okay? I mean, Wilder might be Alexander because last thing to go is power. It's an uphill climb, and don't count the man out. Well, I would say this. I'm not just looking at power with Wilder. I'm looking at his experience. I'm looking at his wheelhouse right now at his age. Wilder has had some tough fights. There was a point in time, and still to this day, I support Wilder through and through. I also look at the way his last fight was against Derek Chisora, and the way Chisora, who's also been in some wars, kept landing that right hand on Wilder, man. He kept landing that right hand, bro. I don't know if Wilder's able to see things the way he did back then. I don't know if he's able to have the trigger pull, the slingshot, being able to press enter when it's time to send that shot down range. I don't know, man. I just know Derek Chisora was landing some incredible power shots on Wilder, and he couldn't get out the way. But would I like to see him in there against Usyk? Of course, yo. Of course. Good point, man. Good point. You know, the last thing to go is power. Can Deontay land the power shot? Because, look, I felt when he landed those hooks to the body, it was just a tap, pop, you know, and then you line them up with the power hand. He landed some hooks to the body, which was good. It didn't seem like he was trying to punch through it, though, like you would do a heavy bag. But he did land it. I like some new shit that he was putting on display up there. I did. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge you for what? What did you say up top? I don't even know who you are, bro. You're not one of the original freaking hottest chat in the game now. Somebody acknowledge him. Hey, Rico is not going to shock no Usyk. This is boxing at the end of the day. In his world, he was able to go to those leg kicks. He was able to push him up. He was able to throw an elbow. Not in boxing. Nope. But like I said, you have the right to your OP. You know what I'm saying? I just see when you restrict some of these kickboxers from their world, you know what I'm saying, their primal domain, where they are known to understand what it's like to close distance. As we say in the court, close with and destroy. The attack factor with all the weapons, they cachet in his primal domain. Rico is lethal. But when you restrict some of his freaking deadly cachet of weaponry, his legs, his knees, his elbows, and you come over to the boxing ring and you put gloves on him, and he's like, oh shit, damn. Somebody put some duct tape on my legs. I keep, you can't go up there and say, Rico, bite your thigh like Tyson was biting his gloves so you cannot throw a kick. It's not going to happen, big dog. It's not going to happen. Rico going to come over here and get points deducted if he going to start throwing kicks. For real. I mean, Alexander Usyk is not the average fighter. Appreciate you there, Haynes. He said, hit the like button. That would be Judah. Shout out to Judah in the building, man, going on his, third week? What's the next fight card? Judah needs his first fight card on his belt. I mean, it's a fight card happening all over, man. It's according to which one you want to attend and why. They got some fight cards. I goddamn go through them on, give you a little bit of on the upcoming schedule a little bit, Let's look at. So, May 23rd, right? Which is tomorrow. A lot of people, they may forget this is Friday, but they got the Alexander Usyk versus Rico fight that's going down this weekend. I know a lot of people haven't really been speaking on it because they don't know who Rico is. But Rico is a legend, bro. Rico is nothing to play with. That dude kick you, and you might as well goddamn go to Amazon and get you 2 wheelchairs. Take your vehicle to the local dealership to get wheelchair accessibility. Seriously. Yeah, May 30th, you have Dimitri Bivol against Michael Eifert. That's May 30th. Now, I'm not saying this is what interests you, okay? June 27th. It should pique your interest, goddammit. Xander Zayas versus Keyshawn Davis. 12 rounds for Zayas, WBA and WBO junior middleweight titles. Yes, that's what I'm waiting on next month, man. And then TBA, okay, to be announced, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, 12 rounds. So sad. So sad, so sad. May 22nd, you have Amari Jones, Vincino Guattueri, if I'm pronouncing that's correct, whatever. May 23rd in Egypt on the undercard of Rico Usyk or Usyk Verhoeven. Hamzat Shiraz versus Aleem Bechik for the vacant WBA super middleweight title. All these super middleweight titles. Shout out to Sir Crawford vacating his titles after handily going in there in this person of Canelo Alvarez in 12-round championship undisputed showcase. He has since retired. Now the belts are being collected from those who didn't get the chance to fight one of the greatest ever. You have Jack Catterall versus Giasov. 12 rounds for the vacant WBA regular welterweight title. And you have Frank Sanchez versus Richie Torres. This is going down tomorrow. We will see tomorrow if the checks and X's add up. Those of you that doesn't think Frank Sanchez have a chance in defeating Richard Torres, or those who believe Richard Torres will have problems with Frank Sanchez as a new up-and-comer potential contender for a heavyweight championship, hailing out of the US of A. all these other fights, like I said, the boxing manifesto look a little bleak. Okay. It's almost like you got them going for the lowest one on cheap flights right here. Let me take Spirit. What that's the disclaimer down there? Fly at your own risk. The pilot would be determined on the day of depart. God damn. How much is the flight again? $26.12. Wow. Hey, I'm just telling you. The boxing manifesto looked like a Spirit Airlines, and you can get one for the low. The quality of fights that you get is not even of interest. For real, it's not even interesting, bro. I mean, we need to get together and goddamn do something. I don't know, man. We have a Spirit Airlines type of itinerary for boxing that's coming up in 2026. It's just nothing that's going to just say, May 30th, we got O'Shaquie Foster, Raymond Ford. But if you go down on the undercard, it's okay. It's okay, yo. That's all. It's okay, man. Enjoy your snacks and peanuts. Great live listening to Hot Grease pushing out these deliveries. Shaw News Boxing LLC, Motion Media Marketing Management. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate it, bro. Shout out to you, man. Doing your thing as always. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jahad Tucker. He's still one of the hottest names in the sport, Let it be known. Haynes said, and shout out to Let Your Boogie upcoming fight too, man. You correct, given an all-out boxing assessment. All is one though. Yes, sir, man. I mean, when people critiques Wilder, it's not like they haven't said negative critiques about Wilder back in the day. That's just going to come with someone listening. Everyone's critique of Wilder is different, but a fan of Wilder, a hardcore fan of Wilder, like myself, they're going to critique him a bit harder, and you have to be able to know what's legitimate, validated assessments and what's ex parte assessments, opinions that people try to push as facts. And we all know opinions is not based off facts. Wilder versus Dubois might be better. Daniel is just too easy to drop the Wilder. Now, I like that, but it ain't gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen. I don't see Daniel Dubois fighting Wilder. I don't see it. If that shit was to come out of somewhere like right field, then I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm down for that shit. I would like to see that fight, but it ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen, yo. Haynes Wilder's not beating Usyk. Now, come on now. Show the Bronze Bomber, the veteran, some respect. You know what I'm saying? What you think and what you don't believe, at least goddamn try to sugarcoat that shit and serve it up as a cocktail, goddamn it. It's happy hour. It's happy hour, I tell you. It's Friday, goddamn it. I know some of you drunk right now talking on this live. I ain't saying the hottest chat in the game is. You know what I'm saying? I just know some people already. Hey, man, give me that. Man, how many shots you gonna take? Goddamn, give me back my shit, dog. Damn. Reposado ain't cheap. Hey, they out there getting busy right now. Hey, I know my people. It's Memorial Day weekend, ain't it? Them was already out there tilting it back. Them was sipping out of straws so they won't get caught by goddamn law enforcement while they heading home. Let me do a little bit more film study on both. Okay. All right. I want everybody to have a happy Memorial Day and a safe. Those of you that may be off an extra day, man, I want you to have a happy holiday. And, you know, I just want to give you this, and it's not to talk or for somebody to believe this belittling them or anyway denigrating them. But don't tell a vet thank you for your service on Memorial Day. It's not for us. If anyone know what a memorial is, you know, it's for the fallen, right? But you don't go up and tell a living vet, thank you for your service. No, that's not the time for that. That's not applicable. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. Look, education is everything, yo. I love to get educated, man. But stop saying thank you for your service to vets, bro, on Memorial Day. That's all I'm saying. Appreciate it. If Rico can hurt Usyk, that would say a little something. I think it might go the distance. I'm not really picking, you know, selecting. Good point. All right, good point, Blunts. I'm not really picking if it can go the distance or not. I'm just saying from what I see in Usyk, how he switches up his training and everything, Rico is not beating this dude. Like just look at Francis Ngannou, this big Nigerian coming over there to fight Anthony Joshua. Cameroon. I think it's Cameroon, right? And Joshua's Nigerian. But two African brothers come in there, and all of a sudden, Francis Ngannou totally forget how to put his mother effing hands up. 1, 2, 3, stop, blast. No, man, that's unacceptable, dog. I cannot see where boxing will allow Rico to get the opportunity to come on here and beat Usyk just to get a rematch in. How does that benefit? Nobody know who the fuck Rico is in boxing, and he's not gonna make some incredible name for himself just because he goes in there and beat Usyk. Don't nobody know him. They know who Usyk is. But solid point there, Blunts. Solid point, man. Yeah, for sure, man. Judah already know. You already know, man. You know, shout out to the godson Judah on deck, man. He should be out there goddamn shadow boxing as we speak. Stop bullshitting. Judah should be shadow boxing right now. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to a Shockey, Foster, and Raymond Ford. Absolutely. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that fight. See, something has to be done about the press enter on criticism when it comes to black fighters, man. We have to do better than that, man. We have to learn how to show love. It's almost like the guilty until proven innocent. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, why can't a Shockey, Foster, and Raymond Ford be fireworks? Look, the crazy part about it, you always got to have the Mexican blend when you're trying to season up some interest to the fight fans. Why does Isaac Cruz and Lamont Roach fight result have people saying, well, Lamont Roach should still fight Tank Davis if he come back? Just based off a common opponent, Isaac Cruz, who knocked Lamont Roach down. Do y'all get salt? Do y'all have salt in your eyeballs? Is your cornea irritated, inflamed? Do I need to call the ER? Are y'all squeezing lemon juice in your eyeballs? Why wouldn't O'Shaquie Foster and Raymond Ford, after he just came off a win with Stephen Fulton? If Cool Boy wasn't cool enough to beat O'Shaquie Foster, why would it be a snooze fest for Raymond Ford? Hey, man, I like the hottest chat in the game, man. Keep talking this shit, man. For real. Boxing talk is always going to be the good, the bad, and definitely the unattractive. He said, you hate a blue. We betting when the fight happens. Same odds as Vegas. Make me a little money. We got to go through WCS channel like the other channels. Please, please, please Do not attempt to emulate any history linking me up to those individuals that you are insinuating. Okay, leave it be. Leave that shit buried. I don't have time to be talking about hoism. Okay, leave that alone. Let hoism stay dormant because I don't have time to babysit, y'all. Leave hoism where it's at. Shit. We ain't doing shit that's comparable. Because look, I bet individuals without anybody taking the money, it's called being a man, being a grown-up. The honor code, god damn it. Well, I gotta sit up here. Y'all grown ass men, you know. Y'all bet each other, pay the fuck up. I never had the problem over here in the hottest chat in the game, somebody not getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I never had that problem, yo. Rico definitely beating him. He might be able to take a beating, though, for sure. If he can survive some head kicks, he might be able to take some shots. Okay, so this what I see. Solid point there, Blunts. Talking about taking some head kicks. I'm glad you said head kicks because this is what they say in combat sports. It's better, more long-standing that in MMA, they're being hit with bone to bone, right? Okay, check this out. You probably say to yourself, oh, that's much more, that's brutal, man. These guys be, you know, in bare knuckle fighting, they be hitting each other bone to bone, be splitting each other, stuff like that, right? Okay. One thing about bone to bone, you get your lights taken out quick. And not every bone to bone strike is going to happen in every fight. In mixed martial arts, there's the 8 limbs of freaking weaponry. Okay. The 9th limb is your head, which is not allowed in, you know, the regular sanctioned MMA bouts. But to get back to what Blunts was saying about head kicks and shit like that Rico is taking, most of the time, kickboxers who have bigger gloves than mixed martial artists are able to block a kick. We're not talking about the ribs, the hips, the thighs, or the calves. We're talking about head kicks. Most of the time, you don't see kickboxers getting knocked out from head kicks. I'm not saying it don't happen, but when they block it with their glove, it takes away some of the impact, right? Some of the shimmer. As in a 4-ounce glove in mixed martial arts, you get kicked in the head, you're still going to feel it on your hand and you're going to feel it when it lands on your cranium. So if Olympian and Usyk, depending on how much damage over time, it's not like football. You see a lot of football players that's coming in boxing and they cannot take a punch. You know why? Because they was using helmets and getting cracked all the freaking time, constantly, over and over again before the damage was able to heal. It's a lot of shit that goes on in football where they're damaging their brain and it's never time to heal. It's never time to heal. So it keeps on getting worse and worse and worse over time to the point where they can function. You know how they say a functioning addict? Well, try functioning as someone with brain damage. And what we don't see behind closed doors actually is still going on. So they say, okay, I think I'm good. I can pass medicals. I go in the box and they get knocked the fuck out. Why? Because them helmet hits with momentum is no joke. But when you stand there and kick somebody in the head, if they got their hand up, they're gonna absorb some of the pressure, some of the impact. If they don't get kicked, depending on where they get hit at, they might get knocked out or whatever. It's not as bad because they're not taking it on a regular basis. When you mix up the striking zones in kickboxing, mixed martial arts, it's different than the striking zone in boxing, because the striking zone in boxing, even though if a fighter is from the waistband up to the head, who cares about below the shoulders? Fighters ain't dying because they're getting hooked to the body. Boxers are dying from the punishment that they receive in sparring and in the ring. And that is one targeted zone, the head. Just like Deontay said, fighters ain't meant to get hit in the head. Shout out to the Bronze Bomber, yo. Just have your blankets ready when them two fights. Damn, he talking about it's gonna be some Charlie Brown shit going on up here. Mother's gonna be walking around with blankets and shit. Damn, see how disrespectful boxing fans is? Boxing fans are disrespectful, man. They're talking about we're gonna be goddamn snuggling on the blankets when Ashaki Foster and Raymond Ford take the ring. How disrespectful is Blunts? Damn. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's Friday too, man. See, bullshit, dog. And they black. See, TGB say both Ford and Foster are defensively responsible, but offensively minded. In my opinion, it would be a great fight. Yeah, man. You know, sprinkle some non-salty, seasoning, all-purpose seasoning on that TGB. Because Big Blunts is just seeing salty right now. You know what I'm saying? He's seeing a little bit salty. You're going to get your food and first thing, hey, man, goddamn, y'all put enough seasoning on this shit? Man, I don't want that. Take it back, man. Give me something. That's too much. I like salty, but Blunt, I heard you online. You like salty shit. you like salty shit, dog. Damn. You trying to tell me we season your entree too salty? That's too much season, man. Let me season my own shit with my salt. You don't do the shit for me, okay? No matter what you hear, don't give me that much season again, all right? Shout out to Haynes Legacy, man. Salute to you, bro. Big shout out. $5 in the super chat, man. Thanks for understanding what it is to support a channel. Good fam. I appreciate you, dog. Salute to team. The Legacy family, man, got a newborn on deck, man. From what I hear, man, he's making weight pretty good right now, man. Putting in the rounds already. Thanks for the $5, man, in super chat. Much appreciated. One love to you, brother. Hold up. I appreciate it, man. You already know. He said they're going to be in there fencing, man. They're going to be in there fencing. You add another weapon, even though it's not a literal sense. He's saying they're going to be in there fencing. Even with fencing, you score points. You score points with fencing. So at one point in time, somebody's going to touch the other and they're going to goddamn get some points. That's all you do. Shit. He said Big Blunt and Haynes is smoking some super good. Said Wilder beat Usyk. I know I didn't say Wilder beat Usyk. But if Wilder was to step in there with Usyk, I'm going for Wilder. That ain't changing. Buyers like a mug. Buyers like a mug. Hey, I was earlier there, Blue. I know you're on a different time zone, but the next time, definitely dropping the link. I got to take care of some stuff. It's Friday, too. I definitely got to take care of some stuff this afternoon. Real talk, brother. But appreciate you asking, though. Next time, I'm going to let you know. I'm definitely dropping a link. I definitely would. It would have been good to get, Blue up here, Haynes, TGB. I know Blunts. He stopped by every now and then. You know what I'm saying? But even the OG on here and kind of get your input. But the topic selection was okay. It was okay. We ain't gonna sit up here and talk about Carissa Shields and Alicia Baumgart. No. But I definitely would have liked to hear the opinions on Richie Torres and what the American public, especially those who indulge in the boxing scene, the community of the boxing fans, what you think about his future progression in the sport. Is he the goods? Once again, is Richie Torres, the silver champion Olympian, the goods? Okay. That's what I want to know. Had to get some hydration because there's a lot of salty cats in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But man, y'all hold it down, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hold it down. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. Until next time, another place. Peace. I'm out. And appreciate the super chat there, Haynes.